Sensei, a central nervous system for the Earth, to create the mathematical and physical foundations for the technologies that will form a new information ecosystem, the central nervous system for the Earth, consisting of 1 trillion nanoscale sensors and actuators embedded in the environment and connected via an array of networks with computing systems to exchange their information among analysis engines, storage systems, and users. Viruses modified to deliver genetic material into cells called viral vectors to insert DNA into specific neurons that will make them produce two kinds of proteins. The first type of protein absorbs light when a neuron's firing, which makes it possible to detect neural activity. An external headset would send out a beam of infrared light that can pass through the skull and into the brain. Detectors attached to the headset would then measure the tiny signal reflected from the brain tissue to create an image of the brain. Because of the protein, the targeted areas will appear darker, absorbing light when neurons are firing, generating a read of brain activity that can be used to work out what the person's seeing, hearing, or trying to do. The second protein tethers to magnetic nanoparticles, so the neurons can be magnetically stimulated to fire when the headset generates a magnetic field. This could be used to stimulate neurons to induce an image or sound in the patient's mind. As proof of concept, the group plans to use the system to transmit images from visual cortex of one person to that of another, being able to decode or encode sensory experiences. Brain-based neural networks are magneto-electrical nanoparticles which may be employed to enhance coupling between external magnetic fields and localized electric fields that emanate from neural networks. This is the cross-hatching of neural lace, too. And then you tie in the Schumann cavity and the resonance within this, and this is a signals and relay system. Magnetoelectrical nanoparticles might also induce nanoparticles to traverse the blood-brain barrier by applying a direct current magnetic field gradient to the cranial vault. Magnetoelectrical nanoparticles were used to control intrinsic fields deep within the mouse brain and have permitted the coupling of external magnetic fields to neuronal electrical fields. So you're tying in and controlling and separating also at the same time the magnetic and electrical fields of a brain, almost creating like two brains. A strategy developed for the delivery of nanoparticles to the perineuronal environment is expected to provide a means to access and eventually stimulate selected populations of neurons. The planetary grid network is complex and intersected between cross-sections of living and dead architecture. Some of it's organic to creation, which a lot of it can be artificial because of the Masonic grids and other things like a crosshatch pattern. There's vertical, horizontal, and diagonal intersections, nodal points in some of the larger networks like dragon lines and stargates. But the word says, in that day the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. Isaiah 27:1. Psalms 148:2. Praise ye him, all his angels, praise ye him, all his hosts. Praise the Lord from the earth, ye dragons, and all the deep. So the Edom group and others alike, Manhattan group as well, created a way to ingest emotional residue imbued original bodies without the abductee realizing that their soul memory matrix was transferred to a clone body, because they would have experienced a total soul matrix energy transfer and a suppression of any memories relating to the transfer process. The clone bodies don't possess the integrated emotional residue that the vampiristic reptilians crave and find intoxicating. There's several specially made cells or rooms built first with lead, then magnetic steel, then copper. It is in those cells on the fourth level of certain bases, deep underground military bases, that contain living oral essence. This essence is what you would call a captured disembodied soul or astral body. But they have done a lot of work in this field, and these types of containments and containers can be transportable, even into space. The soul or astral body astral containment fields interrogated via supersensitive electronic equipment, invisible hospital wards on the 7th level, Parthenogenesis is the method used to grow two type 2 beings. Life essence lingers in some strange limbo, some kind of terrible state of non-death. Alien scientists reprogram the human brain and plant false information. When the person awakes, he recalls the false information as information he gained through life experiences. Our bodies are also the result of sound resonating energy into form, somnolescence, since everything hangs on the word. Everything in creation hangs on the word. Created mountains, all of creation, all the elements will burn with fervent heat and melt at the end of the ages. So if our minds are powerful enough to change the sound range of the body, it moves into another form or disappears from this dimension altogether. This is what's called shape-shifting. The natural laws of creation and the highways and byways of that. Full-blooded reptilians of the lower fourth dimension can make their human physical form disappear and bring forward their reptilian level of existence. It's a vibrational overcoat. Apertures of sound and color open in the atmosphere. Area arenas fought with the 3D manifestation of beings coming through were cloaked in a bubble. In time travel research, they realized that they could bury something in the past and return it to their present and unbury it. In this case, they would not risk creating a paradox and thus phase shift themselves into some other dimension. This is also called quantum folding, because you can't have a quantum leap, and then just have that as an open fray. It has to come back and fold itself in and close the loop, because it's a circuit. However, they might use what they buried in the past to influence their present and future. So regardless of the various ways by which the past might be manipulated as opposed to altered, we in essence would not have a time cop scenario of an infinite number of solid timelines, which would put an infinite strain on space itself, but a 12 monkeys type of scenario involving time travelers making the past rather than changing the past through some type of multilinear reality, or the so-called eternal now, quantum cause and effect type of scenario. These replicates maintain the same surface memories and identity of the original, cross different timelines, bridge the gaps, which are electronically transferred into the clone's mind via a mind-computer link, and the clone may or may not contain the original soul energy matrix. However, in most cases, the duplicate is heavily implanted electronically in order to connect him or her to the alien collective on a subconscious level or a conscious level if the body is under the full control of another entity or identity, as in the case of walk-in synthetics. In the earth, there's massive spinning vortex fields that are directed by a crystal heart, the Schumann resonance, so to speak, resonating in a crystalline network in the Earth's crust that gives the instruction set to direct the energetic frequencies through the planet's energetic circulatory system. So you take somebody and create a time body and sidestep them out of a timeline and disconnect them from the Schumann cavity and resonance, the heartbeat of the Earth, then they're tying in an alternate reality by doing such, and trying to cross hatch and cross stitch that into the optimal and original timeline. So the Schumann resonance cavity is a crystalline network in the Earth's crust that gives the instruction set to direct the energetic frequencies through the planet's energetic circulatory system. Our most vital information is in our membranes. Parasitic beings siphon this out, and it's more than essence or trafficking our essence out or trafficking our consciousness out on trading floors of the universe. The EDOM group, Electronic Dissolution of Memory, RHIC, radio hypnotic intracerebral control, and various forms of behavior control, chemical agents, ultrasonics, optical, and other EM radiations, are very small electronic microradio receivers that act as stimulators, which stimulate a muscle or electronic brain response. This in turn can set off a hypno-programmed cue into the victim or subject, which would elicit a preconditioned behavior, the physics of consciousness. Joint NSA alien programming computers with human thought patterns, growing human brain tissue in a laboratory for use in organic computers, or direct mind-machine communication as is being developed for advanced pilots. The implant houses an individual or collective alien personality that's activated when the conscious identity is asleep, electronic dissolution of memory. remotely controlled production within the brain of acetylcholine, which blocks transmission of nerve impulses in the brain. Selective amnesia is pinpointed. The Armor-Lux Sonic, built in with each light fixture in most camcorders, is a device that could render a man unconscious in seconds with nothing more than a silent tone. Are able to remove a human soul energy matrix and place it in a containment box, like an electrostatic field, and use the controlled body for whatever purposes they choose. Some abductees insist that reptilians can create a clone duplicate of a person in a short amount of time through time warping and replace the soul energy matrix of a person back into the new life forms that then are created with animal-based tissue and other foreign objects and substances, which can take any form that would result in a whole new body that's genetically manipulated, including artificial neural matter, neural lace. Alien technology permits the withdrawal of memory from a human being and the implantation of that memory in synthetic neural networks. Other methods use molecular computers to stimulate memory.